Luka Dončić has been spectacular, but the Mavs as a whole have been anything but. So far for Luka Dončić, he's been having an historical year, but when you look at the Mavs as a whole, it's pretty clear that they have a lot of different issues. Offensively, they don't look all that good. Defensively, they've certainly been having a lot of different struggles, and really the main issue that the Mavs are facing right now is whenever Luka comes out of the game, they really struggle. And for a player to be playing as well as Luka has been, his team and the Dallas Mavericks in this case should be much better than what they're showing. But quickly, before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports. I make opinionative NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. I also want to quickly mention that I recently started up an MMA channel, and if you guys are interested in that, the link will be in the description. But anyways, let's get into it. Ever since getting drafted into the NBA, it was pretty clear that Luka Dončić was a special talent. Luka was one of those rare players that just played extremely well right away. He didn't need time to feel comfortable at the NBA level, he was just ready right away. And after his rookie season, it was pretty clear that the Dallas Mavericks made a spectacular trade to bring in Luka Dončić. The way he was scoring for himself at all three levels at an extremely high level, but also at the same time facilitating for others, just showed how great of a talent he was, but also showed how great of a mind he had. It was pretty clear in his rookie season that Luka had a tremendous understanding of the NBA game and just had great basketball IQ in general. Now there's a bunch of different things that players could learn once getting to the NBA, like certain offensive skills, maybe get better defensively, but one thing that you really can't teach players is basketball IQ. Maybe they can improve upon it slightly as the years do go on, but when you talk about the elite players in terms of that, they all just came into the NBA having that great understanding of the game. And it was pretty clear that Luka Dončić was one of those players. The way he was able to run the pick and roll or pick and pop and just always seemed to make the right play, either scoring for himself or dishing off to others for easy baskets, just was really incredible to watch. So the fact that Luka had that really high basketball IQ, that alone made him a really good player. But also when you consider the amount of skills that he had on top of that in terms of his individual scoring ability, that in my opinion turned him into a generational type talent. And after his tremendous rookie season, people were extremely excited to see what Luka can do going forward long term. And the years that followed that rookie season, Luka just continued to improve his game. From year 1 to year 2, he made an incredible jump. In year 1, which was 2018, he averaged 21 points per game on 42% shooting from the field, 7.8 rebounds on 6 assists per game. But in year 2, he bumped his numbers up across the board, averaging almost 29 points per game on 46% shooting from the field, 9.4 rebounds on 8.8 assists. And the 2 seasons following that, Luka just continued to play at that very high level. And even though his numbers didn't jump significantly, it was pretty clear that he was improving season after season. He was adding a couple of new wrinkles to his overall offensive game, he was adding a couple new things to his passing and playmaking ability, and overall he was just looking like a better and more efficient player as the years progressed. But so far around halfway through this season, Luka's having the best year of his career, which is crazy to say considering he was playing at such an incredibly high level in years past. But this season, Luka's averaging 33 points per game on 49% shooting from the field, 8.9 rebounds on 8.4 assists. Those numbers are just spectacular. I understand that players are putting up a lot more numbers in the new age NBA, and it's a lot more common to see players averaging 30 plus now than it really ever was in the past. You basically never saw that in the past, but while that does hold true, it is still extremely impressive when a player is able to do it and be that efficient with it. Luka's almost shooting 50% from the field, which is just incredible. But also on top of that, he's still rebounding effectively, very effectively by the way, and he's still facilitating for his teammates extremely effectively. I mention this in a lot of my videos, but whenever you're the main player on your team, it would benefit you tremendously to be a decent passer and playmaker. Because once you get hot and you're scoring at will, the opposing team is most likely going to send double or maybe even triple teams at you, depending on how hot you are. But if you have a pretty good passing and playmaking ability and you're always able to find the open guy, then the defense is going to need to respect your teammates a little bit more and play you more straight up, which in turn would make it easier for the main player to score because he's mostly going to deal with one-on-ones, maybe two-on-ones at times. But when you look at Luka Dončić, he's on a completely different level. He's a guy who not only could put up 35 plus each and every night on efficient shooting numbers as well, by the way, but he also has the ability to run an offense at a very high level. So if a team, for example, sent a double or a triple team, Luka is almost always going to find the open guy for a wide open 3-point jump shot or a wide open dunk or layup if they cut backdoor to the basket. So for opposing teams, it just makes it that much more difficult to guard Luka, because if you send 2 or maybe even 3 guys at him, yeah, maybe you'll be able to stop him. In terms of his individual scoring, well, sometimes not even, he's that good, but he's always going to find that open guy for easy dunks or layups. So it's basically impossible to guard this guy. But while Luka has been so good playing at an historical level, when you look at his team in the Dallas Mavericks, they really haven't been playing all that well. When you just think about how well Luka's playing, you would probably expect his team in the Mavericks to be a top 4, maybe even a top 3 seed in the West. But when you look in actuality, the Mavs are only the 6th seed in the Western Conference, and they only have a 26-24 record. Now, obviously that record isn't bad or atrocious, but when you look at their last 10 games, they have a 3-7 record, and this is while Luka is playing out of his mind. So just imagine if Luka starts to play a little bit worse, maybe he goes through a stretch where he's not playing out of his mind and just playing really good, or maybe he even goes through a stretch where he's struggling. Just imagine how poorly the Mavs could play at that point. So it certainly is a pretty big concern the way the Mavs are playing. But the question is, what is the issue with the Mavs? Why are they playing so poorly besides Luka Dončić? Well, I think it comes down to a bunch of different reasons. I think their offensive game as a whole just isn't all that good. When Luka's on the court, he generates most of the points out there, basically all the points to be honest. But when Luka comes out of the game, it seems like it's really difficult for the Mavs to generate scoring. It seems like they don't have enough individual scorers, but they also don't play all that well as a unit. And really these issues come down to chemistry, but also coaching. So offensive issues is certainly a large reason for why the Mavs are struggling. But another reason for why they're struggling is their defense. While Luka is incredible on the offensive side, he's just decent on the defensive side, or maybe even a little bit below decent. So he's not really going to help the Mavs on the defensive side the same way as he does offensively. And when you look at the Mavs, they are in a lot of high scoring games, which means that offensively Luka is going ridiculously crazy and he's putting up an incredible amount of numbers, but it also means that the Mavs are struggling defensively because they're allowing opposing teams to put up a lot of points basically each and every night. And when that's consistently happening to you, it's not really going to be all that sustainable. Maybe you can have some good stretches when your offense is playing very well for a stretch of games, but once your offense inevitably gets a little bit worse, you're most likely going to start losing. And I think we've really seen that. So overall, it is pretty clear that there's a bunch of different issues with the Mavs. They need to figure out their offensive issues, they need to figure out their chemistry, their coaching issues. Defensively, they certainly need to play much better, and overall, the Mavs just need to find out different ways to get Luka some more help. Whether that means the players they already have on the roster play better, or maybe even the Mavs look to be pretty aggressive during the trade deadline and just get Luka Dončić some help. Because this guy's having an incredible season. It kind of stinks to see his team in the Dallas Mavericks not play all that well during this season. So hopefully for Luka's sake and the Mavericks' sake, they're able to turn things around in the second half of the season. But I guess only time will tell what does end up happening with them. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think the Mavs are going to be able to turn things around in the second half of the year, or do you not think so? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, check one of these 2 videos popping up now, and until the next time, peace out guys.